Hi there, my name is Michelle Grasek. I am a practicing acupuncturist, a marketing strategist, and the host of the Acupuncture Marketing School podcast. And today I'm looking forward to talking with you about 3 very simple search engine optimization tips that you can use to rank higher in a Google search. And before we get started, I'd like to thank the American Acupuncture Council for the opportunity to be here with you today. All right, let's get into the slides. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to define search engine optimization, or SEO. I know that many of you are already familiar with this, but as always, I like to make sure that we're all on the same page. SEO is the process of making strategic updates to your website with the goal of your website ranking higher in search engines. And because most people are using Google, I'm probably just going to refer to it as ranking higher in a Google search. Okay. And I like to think of SEO as both art and a science. And today, what we are going to focus on are 3 tips that are more art than science, meaning you are not going to be using any code on your website. You don't need to go into the back end of your website. What we're going to do today is really about teaching Google what kind of patients to send you. And I think this is more of the art side of SEO. And I do think it's our responsibility as small business owners to use SEO to tell Google what our business is about, what kind of patients we want it to send us, and really to help Google know when is our business the answer to a question that someone has typed into Google. And there are a lot of different SEO strategies that we can use to do that. But today I just wanted to show you my top 3 ways to help Google know when your business is the answer to a question. Like when someone types in acupuncture for fertility near me and you're a fertility specialist, that you want Google to have a little bell go off and say, I know the perfect website to show to this person for this search query. Okay, so the number one first thing I would love for you to do is to add keywords to the heading in the above the fold section of your website. So let's talk about that before we go any further. So what does that mean? This is a screenshot of my clinic website, and this is the above the fold section. So above the fold simply means when someone lands on your website, before they have scrolled, that's it. That's the above the fold. And you can see that I have 2 header images and I have a heading here, and I've kept it very simple. Women's health, cosmetic acupuncture, and pain management in Seneca Falls, New York. And of course, we have our booking button. And really, your goal here is to incorporate keywords that are symptoms. So think about, what is your specialty, or what do you love to treat? Who do you want to treat more of? What are those symptoms or conditions you want to treat more of? And this is also about location keywords. So think about a combination of the symptoms or conditions you love to treat, and make sure you're including your location in this above the fold section. So an alternate, because this is very straightforward, it's just a list. If you wanted to use a full sentence, I've seen people have success with that. You might say, for example, helping women in the Finger Lakes region, or maybe just the Finger Lakes, helping women in the Finger Lakes balance their hormones and reduce fine lines and wrinkles naturally with acupuncture. So then you've kind of described your target market and your location and the symptoms that they are struggling with that you can help with. Okay. So either way is fine, but ask yourself, how can I really incorporate symptom keywords and my location keyword into that above the fold headline on your website? And this section on most websites, let me go back one more time, is generally an H1 heading, is what it's known as on the inside of your website. And this is helpful to know because Google puts a lot of weight on an H1 heading for each page, because the H1 heading is like the most important heading. Think of when you learn to write an essay in maybe junior high. So you had your most important thing that you wanted to say, and then under that you had like subsections, and then you might have had subsections where you were getting like more and more nitty-gritty and detailed to make your point. So the layout of a web page is kind of similar. So you have your H1 heading, your H2, your H3, etc. And so Google puts a lot of weight on an H1 heading because it's assuming that your H1 heading is explaining this is what this page is about. And so on your home page, in the above the fold section, your H1 heading, it's really important to get it dialed in with your symptom keywords and your location. Okay. So let's talk about tip number 2, which is to optimize the images on your website. And there are multiple ways that you can optimize images, but I just want to focus on 2 today that are very simple. So one is to fill in the alt tags for all of the images that are currently loaded into your website. And 2 is the next time you go to load an image onto your website, let's say you wrote a blog post and you're going to add an image with that post. Before you load the image, you want to change the file name for the image to include keywords. And then you upload it, and then you would also fill in the alt tag. So what the heck am I talking about? Let me show you some screenshots. So first, let's talk about changing file names of images before you load them onto your website. So this is a screenshot from the downloads section or folder on my website, on my computer. And you can see that I was making multiple images for blog posts. And I think the most important thing here is that you can see the name of each image below the image itself. So if I were to tap on this, it would be highlighted, and then I could type in that space and I could change it. And you can see that I named the image with keywords related to the blog posts that I'm loading it. So these are all about microneedling, and I am really explaining to Google, like, what is this blog post about? Okay, so this is another place where we are helping Google better understand our website by adding keywords into the file names of images before we load them onto our website. Because once you load it on your website, obviously you can't change the file name. So this is inside my website in the media section. So it might just be called photos on your website. It depends on what kind of website you have. I have WordPress. So the media bin in WordPress is where I load all of the images. Okay. And so you can see right here, it's got file name. And this one is for a blog post about neck pain. So it says acupuncture neck pain, how it works. Okay. You could also add your location or your business name. So I could have said acupuncture neck pain, Seneca Falls acupuncture. And what I really want to emphasize here is you have to add a dash in between each word because Google is reading the file name and the dash acts as a space. So if I just did acupuncture neck pain with no dashes, all one word, that's harder, or it's pretty hard for Google to read, right? So acupuncture dash neck dash pain. Okay. Whenever you are renaming your images, that's the structure that you want to use. Okay. So while we are in this section, I have this image pulled up. It's got its file name with the keywords in it. The alternative text right here is what I was talking about when I mentioned filling in the alt tag on your website. So alt tag is sometimes also called alt text, and it's short for alternative text right here. So what you want to do is you want to describe the image and strategically add keywords. Okay. And let's talk about like what is the alt text? What the heck am I talking about? So alt text or alt tags are used by screen readers for the visually impaired to let them know like, oh, there's an image here. Here's what it looks like, or here's what it's about. Okay, so it is important when you are filling in the alt text for your images that you don't just like stuff them with location keywords like acupuncture in Auburn, Skinny Atlas, Waterloo, Seneca Falls, etc., right? You do actually want to put some effort into describing the image, but then you can strategically also add keywords. So for example, this alt text right now, it says acupuncture for neck pain, how it works, and what to expect. So I'm describing the text that is on top of this image. And you could also add on to that. So perhaps you could make the whole alt tag say acupuncture for neck pain, how it works, and what to expect at Seneca Falls Acupuncture. Okay, so the reason that I chose my business name is that it has the location in it and it's good for SEO. If your business is Ageless Acupuncture, then I would also add in Rochester, New York, right? So then you've got your business name added as a keyword and your location as a keyword, in addition to obviously the keywords acupuncture and neck pain. Okay, so you want to go back through all the images on your website and fill in the alt text if it hasn't been done already. And if you have a web developer, they may have done this, but it never hurts to check. Okay. And then the last strategy that I want to share with you today is writing blog posts. Now, please don't shoot the messenger. I know whenever I tell people to write blogs for their website, their response is always, that sounds time consuming. So I get it. And here's why it is worth it. So every time you publish a new blog post on your website, it counts as an entirely new page on your website. So let's say that the average acupuncture website is 5 pages. So homepage, about us, services, frequently asked questions, and the contact page. And okay, so let's say your website has 5 pages and your competitor down the street also has 5 pages, but you decide to write a blog post twice a month for a year. So that's 24 new pages on your website. And you are writing those blog posts about things that you really love to treat, frequently asked questions. Let's say that you love orthopedic acupuncture. You love treating athletes. You love treating runners and baseball players. Like those shoulder injuries that baseball players get are your favorite. So those 24 blog posts are all about the injuries that are common for runners and baseball players, and specifically how acupuncture is helping, what people can expect, answering their frequently asked questions, etc. So now you've got 24 new pages on your website that are full of keywords that your ideal patients are searching for, which brings your total number of pages on your website to 29. And your neighbor down the street didn't write any blog posts. They haven't added any new pages to their website. They're still at 5. So who do you think Google would prefer to send someone to, especially if they are an athlete? Your website is going to feel so much more relevant and just chock full of keywords. But your website is also being updated twice a month, which Google loves. Google really prefers when websites are freshened up, for lack of a better word, on a regular basis, because it gives Google a lot of confidence that your business is relevant, it's still active, you're still in practice, you're helping people, etc. So you have more pages with more keywords, and your website has been refreshed more often than your neighbor down the road. For all those reasons, Google would prefer to display your website. Okay. So really think about, who do you want to treat more of? Who do you love treating? What are the frequently asked questions that you get all the time? So instead of answering questions that are broad, which you can have blog posts like, how many treatments do I need for acupuncture, right? So just big picture. But I would also recommend answering specific questions about the things you love to treat. How many acupuncture treatments do I need for carpal tunnel? How many acupuncture treatments might I need for osteoarthritis of the knee? Okay. And think about, your knee pain patients. What are they asking you? Think about, if you really love to treat runners, we'll use that example again. I feel like the one question runners ask all the time is, can I keep running while I'm getting treatment? Or are you going to tell me to stop and take a break? Because runners hate to take a break. Okay. So really, really think about your target market and what you love to treat, and what are the specific questions those people are asking you, and answer them as blog posts. Okay, it makes a big difference. It helps Google choose you. It makes you look like an expert to your potential patients because you've got this body of knowledge that you have published on specific topics on your website. Okay, so please don't feel like you have to do all of these things at once. I like the strategy of choosing one thing to start with and then just taking the other two suggestions and putting them on your calendar, maybe like 1 month out and then another month out. It sort of helps you like remove that mental burden so that you can just focus on the task at hand. You can focus on your patients. And then next month, it will pop up in your calendar. Oh, I am supposed to be filling in the alt tags for my images on my website this month. Okay. And over time, you will really see your Google rank improve. And one thing to keep in mind is that it takes, I think, on average, about 3 months for the changes to have the effect where now you actually are ranking higher and you are seeing patients as a result. So just pick one thing to start with and get started with that today so that in 3 months, you will really thank yourself for making this effort. So, of course, if you have questions, you are more than welcome to send me an email, michelle@michellegrasek.com. I love talking about marketing clearly. I would love to talk about marketing with you. And I recently released a series of workshops about ranking higher on Google. So, one is about this type of website SEO strategies, and we get into the details of non-tech SEO strategies, other changes like just like these strategies that you can make to help your to help your website rank higher. And then the sister or the companion workshop to that one is how to optimize your Google business profile. Because between those two things, your website search engine optimization and your Google business profile, you can have a significant impact on your Google rank. So if you're interested, you can check those out at michellegrasek.com/Google. And before I go, one more time, I'd like to thank the American Acupuncture Council for the chance to be here with you and talk about these strategies today.